Did you know that a single sapphire brooch has connected 4 generations of British queens for nearly 3 centuries? In 1840, Prince Albert commissioned this remarkable piece from the famous jeweler Garrard as a wedding gift for Queen Victoria. Today, we'll share with you a touching story of how a simple act of love became a symbol of royal legacy. Stay with us. An enchanting journey through centuries of royal tradition and family jewels lies ahead. The year is 1735. A small jewelry workshop on Haymarket receives its very first royal commission. George Wicks, the founder of Garrard, could hardly imagine that his company would one day create the most iconic treasures of the British Empire. At first, the royal household ordered only simple silver pieces, candlesticks, cutlery, modest ornaments for ladies at court. Nothing extraordinary, nothing to hint at the greatness yet to come. But Wicks worked with extraordinary care. Every detail was executed with precision. Every curve of the metal thoughtfully shaped. The royals noticed this craftsmanship. The orders grew larger, more elaborate, and more costly. More than a century passed. The tiny workshop had become a jewel empire. In 1843, young Queen Victoria made a decision that would forever change the history of jewelry. She appointed Garrard the first official crown jeweler of Britain. The company received the exclusive right to craft jewels for the royal family. The crown, the scepter, the orb, all symbols of sovereignty would now pass through the hands of Garrard's masters. From that moment, every tiara, every brooch, every ring became a legend. Garrard's creations accompanied coronations, weddings, and state occasions. Behind every stone stood the story of an empire. But the most remarkable stories are not born at official ceremonies. They arise from love, from passion, from secrets whispered behind the closed doors of Buckingham Palace. And the story of the sapphire brooch is just such a tale. December 1839. Prince Albert of Saxe, Coburg and Gotha is preparing for the most important day of his life. In just 2 months, he will wed Queen Victoria. The whole world is watching this union. Albert knows he must make an impression on the Queen, on the court, and on the people. The young German prince is well aware that many doubt this marriage. Some courtiers even consider him unworthy of the British crown. He decides to commission a very special gift, something that would show the depth of his feelings for Victoria, something that would stand as a symbol of their future together. Albert walks into the Garrard workshops on Pall Mall. The year is 1840. The prince stands before the display cases, pointing to the stones. Blue sapphires, each the size of a dove's egg. Every stone has been mined in Ceylon, from royal quarries. Diamonds from South African mines sparkle like stars. Robert Garrard Jr., the company's master jeweler, listens carefully to the prince's wishes. Albert wants to create something unique. A brooch that would combine regal grandeur with personal tenderness. The first sketches are drawn. At the center, a 12-carat oval sapphire. Surrounding it, a halo of diamonds arranged like a star. Each stone is cut by hand, crafted by London's finest jewelers. Every detail is measured to perfection. Albert orders this marvel for the most important woman in his life, for 20-year-old Queen Victoria, ruler of the greatest empire in the world. Tomorrow is their wedding, and he wishes to place in her hands a jewel worthy of her crown. The jewelers work day and night. Time is running short, but they know this creation will enter history. The sapphire brooch will become the very first in a long line of masterpieces Garrard would craft for the British crown. February 9th, 1840. Buckingham Palace is alive with pre-wedding excitement. Dressmakers are making their final fittings. The royal kitchens are preparing the grand banquet. Queen Victoria is more nervous than usual. She is deeply, hopelessly in love with Albert. In her diary, she calls him an angel, yet political intrigue surrounds their marriage. Parliament debated the terms of the union for months, while the press harshly criticized the Queen's choice. That evening, Prince Albert requests a private audience. Victoria receives him in her chambers. He looks anxious. In his hands, a small velvet box from Garrard. February 10th, the eve of the royal wedding. Albert kneels before Victoria and offers her the box. She opens it and gasps. Her breath catches in wonder. The sapphire brooch shimmers in the glow of candelabras. The blue stones glisten with every shade of the night sky. The central sapphire seems as deep as an endless ocean. The diamonds surrounding it dance in the flame of the candles. Victoria is stunned by the beauty of the gift. She has never seen anything like it. Not even in the royal treasury is there a jewel of such exquisite craftsmanship. Every facet reflects the light at a different angle. The queen takes the brooch into her hands. The metal is warm, the stones smooth. Albert gently explains the symbolism. The blue sapphire represents loyalty and constancy. The diamonds, the purity of their love. The star shape, a guiding light for their future. Victoria decides instantly. Tomorrow, on her wedding day, this brooch will adorn her gown. She asks no one's opinion, neither her ladies-in-waiting nor her court officials. The queen knows in her heart that this sapphire will be the symbol of their love, but she does not yet realize that her choice will echo through the centuries. The sapphire brooch will enter history as one of the most romantic jewels of the royal family. February 11th, 1840. The royal wedding at the chapel of St. James's Palace. The bells of London ring from morning till night. Thousands of subjects crowd the streets, eager to catch a glimpse of their queen. Victoria enters the chapel in a white satin gown crafted by the finest dressmakers. A Brussels lace veil cascades to the floor. Yet all eyes are drawn to a single detail, the sapphire brooch pinned to her bodice. The jewel sparkles in the February sunlight streaming through the stained glass windows. The blue sapphire seems almost alive. The diamonds scatter rainbow reflections across the chapel walls. Guests cannot look away from its brilliance. Prince Albert stands at the altar, smiling. His gift adorns the most important woman in the empire, on the most important day of their lives. The Archbishop of Canterbury conducts the ceremony. As the queen pledges her vows, the brooch glitters with every movement. After the wedding, the grand reception begins. The queen receives congratulations from ambassadors, lords, and members of parliament. Everyone remarks on the splendor of her attire. The sapphire brooch becomes the centerpiece of conversation in society circles. But the story of this jewel is only beginning. Victoria will wear it throughout her 64-year reign. Months pass, years go by. The queen adorns herself with the sapphire brooch at every significant occasion. The opening of parliament, state receptions, banquets with Europe's sovereigns. The jewel becomes inseparable from her royal image. Artists capture Victoria wearing the brooch in official portraits. Later, photographers, embracing the new technology, also preserve her likeness with this emblem. The brooch transforms into a symbol of the Victorian era. Ladies at court envy their queen. They commission replicas from various jewelers, but none can rival the original. Garrard's craftsmanship remains unmatched. Then, tragedy strikes. The year is 1861. Prince Albert dies of typhoid fever at the age of 42. Victoria falls into deep mourning. She dresses only in black and rarely appears in public. Yet even in grief, the queen cannot part with her sapphire brooch. The blue stone is a reminder of the joyful years with her beloved husband, of that February day when they became man and wife. The brooch carries the memory of their love. January 22, 1901. Queen Victoria dies at the age of 81. Her reign had lasted 64 years, the longest of any British monarch. The sapphire brooch passes into history as part of the crown jewels. The new king, Edward VII, entrusts his mother's jewels to Queen Alexandra. The Danish princess admires the beauty of the sapphire brooch, but she wears it only on rare occasions. She has her own favorites, her own style. In 1910, George V ascends the throne. His wife, Queen Mary, takes a deeper interest in the Victorian jewels. She studies the history of every stone, every brooch in the royal collection. Mary learns the romantic story of the sapphire brooch. Albert's wedding gift to Victoria fascinates her, and soon she begins wearing it at family occasions. The jewel returns to life, but its true rebirth comes in 1952. A young princess, Elizabeth, becomes queen after the sudden death of her father, George VI. She is only 25. In Buckingham Palace, the new monarch is introduced to the contents of the royal vaults. Hundreds of tiaras, thousands of brooches, countless necklaces and bracelets, treasures gathered over centuries of monarchy. Yet it is Victoria's sapphire brooch that catches Elizabeth's eye. She reads her great-great-grandmother's diaries. She learns the love story of Victoria and Albert. Elizabeth understands the symbolic weight of this jewel. It binds her to her legendary predecessor, to a queen who reigned for 64 years and whose name defined an entire era. The brooch makes its first public appearance in 1953 at Elizabeth II's coronation in Westminster Abbey. The whole world watches the ceremony on television. After the coronation, the Queen wears it more and more often. Observers begin to notice a pattern. At the most significant state events, Elizabeth chooses Victoria's sapphire brooch. The 1980s. The Queen meets US President Ronald Reagan. On her chest gleams the familiar sapphire. American journalists write about the diplomacy of jewels. The 1990s. A state banquet in honor of Nelson Mandela, the first Black president of South Africa. Elizabeth selects the sapphire brooch for this historic moment. The jewel witnesses a changing world. The 2000s bring new challenges: the tragedy of September 11th, wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, the global financial crisis. The sapphire brooch shines once more during her meeting with US President Barack Obama. Every appearance of the jewel is captured by cameras worldwide. Fashion historians analyze and record the Queen's choices. A brooch that began as a wedding gift has become an instrument of diplomacy and a symbol of stability. Yet its most meaningful moments often come away from state occasions, family portraits, jubilees, and private gatherings. In these images, the sapphire brooch rests on the chest of a 70, 80, even 90-year-old woman who is no longer only a queen, but also a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. The 21st century. The sapphire brooch has outlived 2 world wars, the fall of the British Empire, and the technological revolution. The stones chosen by Prince Albert in 1840 still shine with undiminished brilliance. The craftsmen of Garrard created more than just a jewel. They created a bridge between eras, a link between Victorian England and modern Britain. The sapphires still seem to hold the warmth of Albert's hands. The diamonds still reflect the gaze of a 20-year-old queen in love. Today, this brooch is one of the most recognizable jewels in the world. Its value cannot be measured in money. Its true worth lies in history. 285 years of royal tradition, captured in a handful of sapphires and a circle of diamonds. A story that began with the love of a German prince for a British queen continues to this day, and each time the sapphire brooch appears in public, it reminds the world of one timeless truth, that true beauty and true love can outlast centuries, empires, and revolutions. If you enjoyed this story of royal jewels, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel so you won't miss new tales of the secrets of royal dynasties, and be sure to ring the bell icon. You'll be the first to know when a new episode is released. In the comments, let us know which royal jewels you'd like us to cover next. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.